Oh, look at that. Hey, do you want to know how I lost 8 pounds of body fat in the last 8 weeks while still actually eating chocolate and pizza and crisps and dip and Magnum ice creams? Well, you're going to want to listen up. So this, whilst I munch on a twirl and have my cup of coffee, might be a little bit of a long video, and I'm going to take you through the exact strategy that I've used the last 8 weeks or so to drop 3%, over 3% body fat and 8 pounds in weight and body fat as well. Now, how do I know that's body fat that I've dropped? And how do you know whether it's water weight that you've dropped? How do you know whether it's muscle you've dropped? The only way to truly know this is to get a body fat check. Now, a body fat check is done professionally by, the best way is usually calipers, which is a little pinch test with a little springy machine that people use who are skilled in it. I'm not personally, but I know people who are, my coaches, and they take certain sites on your body to get a reading. Based on your age and the measurements they take will give you a more or less accurate-ish body fat reading. Now, what you got to remember is, me personally, I've been in the fitness game, the active game, the lifting weights, the boxing training, the running, the boot camp style body weight, all this kind of exercise, moving my body in different ways, wrestling, etc. for the last 20 years, 22 years actually. I started training at 16, I'm now 38, coming up 39, and I've been active most weeks since that point. Never good in sport in school, but I found the gym at 16, I started lifting weights. Then I started to get into fitness training alongside of it as well. So I have done some level of physical activity for the last 20 years. However, this past sort of 5 years, I would say, 5 to 7 years, I've really started to take my nutrition more seriously and started to understand the concept of calories. And when it comes to dropping body fat, there's a couple of things you've got to bear in mind. You can drop body fat and still eat chocolate. I couldn't eat 4 of these every day and drop body fat. Very unlikely. However, that does depend on your overall calorie intake. Now, my calorie intake, once I'd actually worked it out, so that was the first step towards me dropping 8 pounds of body fat in the last 8 weeks. I tracked first what I was actually having. Now, if you think about it, we're creatures of habit, right? This was very nice. 1 second while I take a sip of my tasty beverage. Name that film. Royale with cheese. So anyway, first things first, you got to get clear. So I got clear on exactly what I was having. So what I noticed is that most days I would eat the same things, and you're probably the same. Monday to Friday, you'll probably eat the same things. You'll probably have the same breakfast, or if you don't have to skip breakfast, you have the same snack, or you just have the same lunch and the same more or less tea and what we call tea, dinner. So I noticed that on average, my calorific intake was approximately 3,200 calories daily. And what I noticed is that was split over 3 meals. Now, I tend not to snack very much. This is actually quite rare for me to have a snack. Maybe once or twice a week I'll have a snack. What I noticed was where the majority of my calories were coming from was nut butter. On a morning after I've eaten my usual 6-egg breakfast on gluten-free toast, I will have spoons of nut butter. And what I realized is I was having about 500 to 600 calories of nut butter every single day because I was spooning it in. Now, for me, weight loss was never the goal. It was always performance, right? But when I started to think, how can I look a little bit different? How can I drop a bit body fat? How can I just make a couple of little minor improvements to change the shape of my body? And when I did the minor improvements, major things happened. And if you look at the picture on screen now, you'll see the difference in me from 2019 to 2024. And there's a huge difference in 5 years. So when I show the end picture that you've just seen there in 2024, it's not like that just transformed in the last 8 weeks. There's obviously a lot that's went on in the last several years of consistent training, getting the nutrition right, but I've had some big results in the last 8 weeks, which you can take and apply to your own life. So, back to the story. Every day, I'd have more or less the same thing, and after my breakfast, I would scoop 6 spoonfuls of almond butter. Now, again, I didn't want to lose weight. That was never really my goal. It was to perform well, feel good, and eat calories based upon things that were quite clean, not like many processed calories, right? So nut butter is just nuts, but they're very high calories. So I noticed, right, what if I just still had the nut butter, but instead of having 6 scoops, 5 or 6, I just had 1 or 2. So that's the first thing I did. Is I just literally, when I went to spoon the bar, usually I just spoon it and forget how many I was having, like a lot of us do. You know, when we're eating 1 chocolate bar, we're eating a full pack of the hobnobs and not just 1 or 2. We're just unconscious, what we call unconscious eating. This is why we get fat, because we consume too many calories and we're not realizing how many we're consuming. So first things first, I opened the butter on the morning and I said, right, 2 scoops max, 1, 2, then put it away. That was it. Considering I do that every day, 7 days a week, I had reduced my calories by 3 It was approximately 300 to 400, I think, minimum, every single day, 7 days. So what's that? That's over 2,000 calories less a week, just off going from 5 scoops to 2, or 6 scoops to 2. So think about that. I'm not giving the thing up like this, but it's like if you had 4 of these, you'd cut it down to just 1, right? That would be the first step. Now, the second step, on my lunch, which I usually have, you can see on screen here, I'll have a packet of microwave rice with some tuna and some mayonnaise and some vegetables. This is very nice, very exciting for me because I don't tend to eat high sugar chocolate very often. I noticed on my lunch that my big bag of rice, well, my full bag of rice, because I'll just eat the full bag, right? 1 packet of rice, rather than waste it, say, right? However, I started to notice there was about 420 calories, 440 calories per bag of microwave rice. So I just halved that. I still had it, but I had half the portion. See, portion size could be the one thing that helps you drop weight very, very efficiently. So I started at 5 days a week. Usually I would have a different one on a weekend maybe, but 5 days a week, I would half the size of my rice. So I would take half a packet rather than a full packet. So what did that do? If it was 220 calories times 5, that's another 1,100 calories, right? So all in all, I was reducing my calorie content by over 3,500 calories every week by just dropping the portion size of 2 things I had. Now, if you drop your calories 3,500, that is an equation in scientific terms to equal 1 pound of body fat loss. So I reduced my calories first. Now, what I did to improve that further was there was another couple of things I added in to just make sure that I was over. Because sometimes you can go a little bit over. You can have I had an extra spoon of butter, or on a weekend, what I would do on a Saturday night, for example, I would still have a pizza and a chocolate bar, or I would still have a burger and chips, and I would have a full bag of Aldi crisps with the dip as well, the high calorie dip. I'd still have that. However, I'd do this. I'd up my training by a day a week. So I would train on average 4 to 5 times a week. That would be my usual, right? But I upped it another day. So I now train 5 to 6 times a week. Have a rest day usually on a Sunday. So that extra day's activity, whether it be in the gym with my new coach, Mr. James Hatton, who's coaching me very, very well right now. I've had several coaches over the years, people that have reached out to me for help. I'm more than capable of coaching myself. After all, I've been a PT and in the fitness game for 12 years now. I know what to do, but why wouldn't I reach out to someone else to give us something different, to hold me more highly accountable? Every coach needs a coach. Why wouldn't I say to somebody else, I've got a life coach, I've got a business coach, I've got a PT, I've had breathwork coaches, I've had mindset coaches, I've had all different kinds of spiritual coaches and everything over the years, because we need to learn and grow from other people. And he might tell us to put something in that I would maybe avoid, or something that I would not think of and think, oh, I've never seen that before. That's interesting. Let's give that a go. We have to bounce off each other's energy. So I would train an extra day. What I would train is weights. I would also do a combination during the week of some body weight exercise training as well. I love me push-ups. I love me burpees. I love me jumping jacks. I love that feeling of doing squats and planks and sit-ups and getting out of breath. That's a fucking lively feeling for me. Sorry, hobnobs. That's a lively feeling for me. I like that. It helps burn calories and make you feel good and keep your energy up. So I would do weight training 3 times a week, possibly 4, and I would do some kind of high intensity training 2, at the most 3 times a week. And I would use that cycle 5 to 6 times of regular active training, but I was also, in the meantime, where I could, not every day, I would try and walk. I would try and walk with my partner. I would try and walk outside for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Even if it's just a 15-minute walk, I would try and get my step count up. So during the week, I hadn't changed too much. And come on Saturday night, I would allow myself from like 5:30 till 7:30, 2 hours of gluttony. And I would say, you know what? I'm gonna have this pizza. I'm also gonna have this bar of chocolate. I'm also gonna have this little bit Lindt. I'm also gonna have this bit fruit. I'm also gonna have these few sweets. I'm also gonna have this half bowl of Cocoa Pops. And I would allow myself to have that and not give a fuck. Then the next day, I would start to eat healthy again and watch those spoons of nut butter and cut the rice down, yeah? And I would do those little things. Another little thing that I found helped really well is on a weekend, I fasted until midday. So I'd often just, on a Saturday, I'd train my usual high intensity training with Total Supercharged Tribe on a Saturday morning, 6 till 7. And then I wouldn't eat until midday, 12, 1 o'clock. And I would cut out that 1 meal a week. Doing that on top of the calories that I'd already reduced meant that I'd probably took out another 800 calories from the morning, possibly even 900 calories. So I am in over a 4,500 calorie deficit every single week. It's no wonder I was dropping weight and dropping body fat. And because I was eating well with a high protein diet on top of that, I was eating my usual diet. Now bear in mind, my usual diet's pretty good. It's high protein, I eat a lot of single ingredient foods, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. Like, I eat a good diet. It's not like loads of bread and pasta and cheese and all this. Like, that's rare, that stuff, apart from the gluten-free bread on a morning that I have. Well, my diet's pretty good, right? So I cut out my nut butters on a morning, but I didn't cut them out entirely. I just reduced the portion size. I reduced the portion size of my lunch and I upped my activity level. And over the last 8 weeks, I have went from over 16% body fat to under 13. I'm now, as you can see on the picture, I'm 12.8% body fat. And I haven't really changed that much. I've still been training the usual stuff that I do in my own gym 2-3 times a week. And I've been going to a PT twice a week to change up my routine and learn from somebody new. So I've been training 5 to 6 days a week, eating my regular diet, just watching my portion size. And magic has happened, as you can see by those photos. And you know what? You can still eat your hobnobs, your Jaffa cakes, your Kit Kat chunkies, your pizzas, your chips, your twirl. But you just got to make sure that the majority of your diet is healthy and calorie controlled for your levels. Like, first off, you need to know what, like I said at the very start of this video, how many calories are you actually having on a daily basis? How many calories are you actually having? I noticed that I was having about 3,200 every day, more or less on average. And where can you reduce 500 to 600 calories a day? By just trimming down your portion size. It's really that simple, people. People overcomplicate it and think they've got to change their diet and eat just broccoli and chicken and stop all these lovely twirls and things like this, and they can't have any biscuits. You can. Just if you're the type of fucker who gets 7 fucking hobnobs with 1 coffee, why not have 2 hobnobs instead? Have 2 on a plate and put the rest the fucking way. You do that all the time, these results add up. You think you have to diet, but it's not really. You never have to diet ever. Do you have to restrain and restrict certain things? Yeah. But that's called a fucking lifestyle, innit? Because if you restrain and restrict them during the week, why don't you give yourself permission for an hour or 2 on a Saturday night to just be gluttonous? Eat until you feel sick, if that's your thing. And then make sure that you really watch what you're doing for the rest of the week. Earn your calories by working your fucking arse off 5 to 6 days in the gym. It's very simple, people, but it's hard. It's hard losing weight. And I know, because I've done it, but it's very fucking simple. But actually, I would even go as far to say is that it wasn't that hard to do that. Because I'm already obviously in the lifestyle. I get if people aren't in the lifestyle of working hard, like training more days of the week than not, and you know, eating a high protein diet, that's hard to get into. But once you're into it, little changes like this are not that hard. But no matter where you are, even if you're eating shite all day, by you understanding first what you're actually eating and then saying, where can I just reduce my portion size and be more fucking active? Again, you don't have to go to the gym. You could do an online program where you train from home, something like Total Supercharged Tribe. Cheap plug there. Or, you know, you could just get out walking or swimming or dancing or whatever it is that you like to do that's active. But you can't sit at your work desk, eat all of these Jaffa cakes, type on your computer, slurp your Starbucks, eat your Kit Kat chunky, eat all your hobnobs, finish your work. Yeah, I'm tired, I'm knackered, I can't be asked to go to the gym tonight, like, I'm just gonna go home. And then you go home and put a fucking ready meal and order a takeaway because you're so fucking knackered by all the shit you've been consuming, the fact you haven't moved this arse, and then go and fall asleep on the sofa and wake up at 11 o'clock and can't get to sleep till 1 and then be fucking wrecked the next day. If this is you, you need to fucking sort that out. And you know you do. I am a big advocate for eating shit, just in the right quantities at the right times, and understanding that you do not have to stop eating chocolate or sweets or drinking pop or whatever. Pop's a video for another time. If you've enjoyed this little chat with me at my work desk, put a comment below. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Let me know what the thing is that you're going to reduce and cut down on in order to make those small changes for big results. I'll see you on the next video.